everyone, this is Callie. Welcome. I am so excited you're here. I'm sharing a quick and easy holiday card using some Spellbinders Glimmer Hot Foil products. There are two Glimmer Hot Foil plates here that I'll be using today. The first and main set is this Glimmer Holly background set. It is a full background hot foil plate as well as a coordinating 4-pack stencil set. So we'll be using that to create an easy background, and then later on we'll be using a joyful glimmer set for the sentiment. Now for the background, I'm going to be laying everything out here on my Glimmer hot foil system. Probably seen this process done several times before, but we'll go ahead and go through this for newcomers. I am turning on my machine and making sure the platform is ready, and then I'll hit the timer once I have everything on my platform. Once that timer light stops blinking, I'm going to undock it, run it through my die cutting machine to get that gold impression on the cardstock. When I peel away that hot foil, what is left is the impression from that hot foil plate, and it's so pretty on its own in gold, but we're going to be using that stencil set to coordinate and ink blend this to add some color. As mentioned, there are 4 layers to the coordinating stencil set, so I've pulled out some greens as well as a deep red color for the berries for the 4 different stencils. I'm using my Stampin' Stencil mat to hold down my cardstock, and then I'll layer each layer onto the Stampin' Stencil mat over my card panel, and then I'll ink blend each layer slowly. You probably can't tell from the video, but if you look at the images on the blog post, you'll see that these stencils do not provide full coverage of the actual images. It's kind of an abstract ink blended look. For my second layer, I'm using a darker green for these little pine sprigs here. I am ink blending a little bit darker concentrated color towards the center stems of these foliages and then blending out into a softer color. That way we get lots of variation in color and saturation, and it provides a bit more interest for the panel. For the third color, I am using a even deeper, darker green. This is pine ink for the holly stems. And then for the final layer, we're going to be using some red. I'm using cherry ink for these berries. Again, concentrating color at a particular corner and blending it to a softer color at the other edge. So I'm just going from one side of the berry to the other with a gradient. Okay, so now our background is complete, and what you'll notice is some of the foliage is not provided with coverage from the stencils. So because I wanted my background to have full color, I'm going to be using a color combination of Copics to provide color for the other missing stems. I know that's intentional for Spellbinders. I just wanted my background to be fully covered. So I'm using G21 and G24, doing some quick flicking on those foliage stems that didn't get covered by the stencils, to create kind of that similar abstract look, so I'm not fully covering those leaves. So there we have a fully covered panel, and it's so pretty with that foiled background. For the background, I'm using this Joyful Glimmer hot foil set. There are 2 plates to this set, and I'm just using the word joyful. The other plate adds decorative flowers to the words, and it's really pretty, but I don't need that for this particular card. So I'm just going to hot foil the word joyful over some red cardstock. So we'll be repeating the hot foil steps, and once I dock it and reveal the word joyful, it's just so bold and beautiful, and I thought that the red would really tie in and coordinate with the berries from the stenciled background. There is not a coordinating die for this joyful word, so I'm going to be doing some fussy cutting. There's a little word B at the top there by the J. I'm just going to fussy cut around that and cut it right off so that I can use just the word joyful. And then, because I wanted it to really coordinate with the berries on my background, I'm using that same cherry ink to ink blend around this word joyful to give it a bit more contrast and interest as well. Now that ink is going to sit on top of that foil, so we want to rub that ink off. I'm using a microfiber cloth, but you can use any cloth that you have handy, or a paper towel will work just as great. Now that that sentiment is prepared, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my card panel to a card base. I'm using some liquid glue, and I'll attach that to my card base first. Then I'll attach some 3D foam squares on the back of that word joyful so that I can adhere my sentiment to the center of the card with some dimension. Then I wanted a sub-sentiment to break up that sentiment as well and give my card a little bit more grounding. These pre-printed sentiments are from the Simon Says Stamp Reverse Typed Christmas Sentiment Set. It's from Kathy Zilski, and I'm just going to trim down a sentiment that I want to use. I have 2 little foam strips at the ends of this strip, and then I added some liquid glue across the center so that I can make sure everything adheres to the card well. And then I'm using my T-ruler to make sure that my sentiment strip is aligned and straight. Then to finish my card, I'm going to adhere some sparkling clear confetti sequins from Pretty Pink Posh. I've added some sequins on and off of the sentiment to give this card a bit more interest and some sparkles and shine. So we have foil and we have some confetti, and that gives our card lots of shine, and I hope you enjoyed this quick project. Be sure to check out the blog and descriptions below where everything will be linked for your convenience as far as the supplies used. Thanks so much for stopping by and have a wonderful day. Bye everyone!
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.